Welcome, my dear friends. Welcome to Fluent Avenue. Today, I want you to sit back, close your eyes for a moment, and take a deep breath. Because today's journey is not just about learning English. It's not only about words, grammar, or speaking fluently. It's about life. It's about control, discipline, clarity, and that deep, inner silence where the real power of transformation begins. So listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because when the heart listens, the mind understands. And when the mind understands, life begins to change. Here is a thought to begin with. A beautiful one. A deep one. If you do not silence your desires, they will become your master. And once they control you, you are no longer living your life. You are simply surviving through your cravings. Let me tell you something powerful. Something I learned through pain, patience, and practice. The most successful people in the world, whether they speak perfect English or build great companies or inspire millions, are not the ones who followed every desire they had. No, they are the ones who learned how to silence them. They are the ones who heard the loud noise of temptation and still said, "Not today." They are the ones who could have gone out, could have slept longer, could have wasted another hour scrolling through meaningless videos, but instead, they got up, studied, practiced, failed, got up again, and built something out of nothing. I remember meeting a young man in Denver, Colorado. His name was Luke. When I met him, he was working late at a coffee shop, wiping tables after the shop closed. He had dreams in his eyes, but tiredness on his face. I asked him what he was doing with his life. He smiled and said, "I'm working to build a better version of myself. I'm learning English. I'm learning discipline. I'm building a routine." I asked him, "Don't you get tempted to quit? To relax? To do something easy?" He looked straight at me and said, "Every day. But I know my desires are like wild horses. If I don't hold the reins, they will take me to places I never wanted to go." That answer hit me hard. It made me think about my own life. How many times I gave in to comfort. How many hours I lost in the arms of laziness. How many dreams I delayed because I followed temporary feelings instead of long-term vision. And maybe you too have felt the same. Maybe you start learning English and after 2 days your mind says, "Let's take a break." Or maybe you have a goal to become a speaker, a leader, a successful person, but then a little voice says, "Let's watch a movie first," and that movie becomes a habit. That habit becomes your new life. But now it's time to fight back, not with anger, not with frustration, but with calm, focused energy. You need to learn the art of silence. The silence of not following every emotion. The silence of sitting still when your body wants to run away. The silence of repeating a phrase in English 10 times, 20 times, when others are out partying. That silence is your strength. That silence is your fire. Let me tell you how you can build this silence. Let's call it inner discipline. The first step is awareness. You must know when your desires are speaking. You must feel it. For example, when you're studying and suddenly you feel like checking your phone, pause. Ask yourself, is this my mind's desire or my life's need? When you want to skip your practice session, pause. When you want to eat something unhealthy, pause. That small pause will change everything. That 1 second of awareness is the beginning of strength. The second step is to create a routine. Not a heavy, complicated plan, but a simple daily routine that serves your goal. If your goal is to speak fluent English, then make a habit of speaking 5 sentences out loud every day. Watch one small video in English and repeat the sentences. Write a short paragraph about your day. Do it every single day without missing. And when your mind tells you, just one day, it's okay to miss, that's when you say, no, I silence you. Because every time you break your pattern, you break your progress. The third step is to understand your purpose. Why do you want to speak English? Why do you want success? If the reason is not strong enough, your desire will win. But if your purpose is deep, if you want to speak English to support your family, to move to a better country, to speak with confidence, to inspire others, then hold that purpose in your heart every single morning. Repeat it to yourself like a prayer. Write it down. Make it your wall poster. Make it your phone wallpaper. Let it be louder than your excuses. And the fourth step is patience. Understand this truth. Nothing great is built in one day. Not fluency. Not success. Not even inner silence. There will be days you fall. There will be days you feel lost. But if you get up again, if you return to the path again, if you continue to silence your desire again, then you are already winning. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. The real difference between failure and success is not talent. It's not luck. It's consistency with silence. Let me share a short story of a girl named Emma from Seattle. She had big dreams. She wanted to become an English-speaking coach, but she was scared. She thought, who will listen to me? I have an accent. I don't sound smart. But every morning, before breakfast, she would stand in front of her mirror and speak for 5 minutes in English, even when her voice shook, even when she forgot words, even when her neighbors laughed. 1 year later, she got her first online students. 2 years later, she opened her own YouTube channel. Today, she teaches thousands of people, not because she was the best, but because she learned to silence her fear. She silenced the desire to give up. You can be like Emma. You can be like Luke. But only if you learn this powerful art. Silence your desires before they control you. Because once they take over, you will forget who you are. You will live in someone else's story. But if you hold on, if you say no to the temporary, you will make space for the permanent. I wanted to sit in rooms where ideas were shared. I wanted to be the voice people listened to. But my English was broken. My confidence was low. And I kept telling myself, maybe this life is not for me. Maybe I was not born to do big things. But deep inside, something kept whispering, try again. Make one decision. Just one. So one night, after work, I walked home slowly under the cold Oregon sky. I sat by the window in my small room and wrote in my notebook, from this day, I will speak English fluently. I will become the best version of me. That was it. One sentence. One decision. But that decision changed everything. In the beginning, it was hard. I didn't have much money. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't even have good internet. But I had something more powerful. I had a reason. I had a fire. And I made a plan. Every morning before work, I spoke to myself in English. Not long conversations, just simple sentences. Good morning. I feel strong today. I will learn something new. I recorded my voice. I listened to it again and again. And I corrected my mistakes. At work, I listened to English podcasts in my earphones while I cleaned the floor. I watched videos with subtitles at night. I read one small article every day. And most importantly, I started thinking in English even when I made tea or waited for the bus. Slowly, it became a habit. It became my world. But it wasn't always easy. Some days I felt stupid. Some days I wanted to quit. But then I remembered my promise. I remembered my decision. And I kept going. I told myself fluency is not magic. It's not a gift. It's a skill. And skills are built. I met a girl online from Texas. Her name was Emily. She was learning Spanish, and I was learning English. So we helped each other. We sent voice messages every day. We laughed at our mistakes. We supported each other. That connection gave me more confidence. I was no longer alone. And that's the first big tip I want to give you. Find someone to practice with. Even once a week. Even for 10 minutes. It changes everything. My second tip is this. Speak, don't just study. You can learn grammar rules for years and still not speak fluently. You must use the language. Out loud. Every day. I started reading short children's books out loud. Then I moved to simple articles. I didn't care if I sounded silly. I didn't care if I made mistakes. I was training my mouth, training my brain, training my soul. And guess what? After 3 months, people noticed. My coworker said, "Hey, your English is getting better." That one compliment gave me wings. But this journey is not just about learning English. It's about success. It's about becoming strong. It's about owning your life. One decision can change your fluency, yes. But it can also change your confidence, your job, your relationships. I saw it with my own eyes. A man named Robert from Michigan told me his story. He was 35. He had never spoken English fluently. One day, he made the same decision, to try with his full heart. He started shadowing English videos, listening and speaking at the same time. He changed his phone language to English. He wrote daily notes in English. Now he teaches English online. Yes, him. The same man who was once too shy to order coffee. What I'm telling you is not a dream. It's real. But it begins with that one moment when you say, enough is enough. I will change. If you keep doing what you've always done, nothing will change. But if you make a new decision, even a small one, everything around you begins to move. Life notices your energy, and doors start opening. Now let me give you a powerful strategy one used to improve faster. I call it the 3-3-3 rule. Every day, do 3 things in English. Listen to something, podcast, video, movie, for at least 15 minutes. Speak something out loud, even if it's just to yourself, for 10 minutes. Write something small, like a journal entry or a comment, in English. That's it. Just 3 actions. Every day. Not perfect, but powerful. I followed this rule for 6 months. I never missed a day. Even when I was tired, even when I was sick, even when I was sad, I did it. Because success is not about how you feel. Success is about what you do, again and again. With love, with belief. with purpose. And I want to tell you something important now. You don't need to be the smartest person. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a big school. You need one thing: commitment. You must promise yourself that you will not stop, no matter how long it takes, no matter how slow it feels, because every step is progress. Every word you speak is a victory. Every mistake you make is part of your learning. And slowly, fluency becomes your new truth. You walk differently. You speak with pride. You live with joy. I also want to remind you to protect your mind. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. Watch content that lifts you up. Read stories of success. Feed your brain with good words. Don't listen to those who laugh at your accent. Don't let fear stop you. You are more than your fear. You are more than your past. You are the future waiting to be written. But every time I tried to speak English, my hands would shake. My voice would crack. My mind would go blank. I felt so embarrassed. I felt small, weak, and stupid. I remember one day, a customer asked me something in English. I couldn't understand him. I smiled nervously and pointed him toward the next aisle. When he left, I ran into the storeroom and cried. I cried because I felt like I didn't belong. I cried because I knew deep down I was capable of more. That night, I went home, looked in the mirror, and said, "Sarah, this is not your final chapter. You are not done yet. You were born for more. You were born to grow." And in that exact moment, I made a decision. Just one decision. And that decision changed everything. I decided that no matter how slow I go, I will not stop. I decided I will learn to speak English fluently, not because someone told me to, not because the world expected it, but because I wanted to look at myself one day and say, "You did it." And when I made that decision, something in my heart shifted. I stopped waiting for the perfect time. I stopped blaming my past. I stopped saying, "I can't." I started saying, "How can I?" I took out an old notebook, wrote down the words "fluent English" and circled them in red. That was the goal. And I didn't look back. I started small, very small. I began talking to myself in English every morning. "Good morning, Sarah. How are you today?" That's all. Just a small hello. Then I added more. "Today I feel happy because," or "Today I feel tired but strong." I began listening to podcasts. I didn't understand everything, but I listened with my heart. I watched English movies with subtitles. I paused. I repeated. I learned the rhythm. I started reading children's books in English. Slowly, sentence by sentence, I built confidence. I started using a mirror. I stood in front of it and practiced conversations. "Hi, my name is Sarah. Nice to meet you." I smiled. I fixed my posture. I used my hands. I became my own coach. The hardest part wasn't learning English. The hardest part was fighting my fear. But let me tell you a secret. Your fear is a liar. It tells you that you're not good enough. It tells you to stay quiet. It tells you to wait. But your heart knows the truth. You are enough. You are ready. You just need to say yes to yourself. That one decision is your power. Now let me give you the exact strategy one used. You can do this at home. First, set one clear goal, not 10 goals. one goal. For me, it was speak fluently in 6 months. Second, make a daily plan. Mine was simple: 30 minutes speaking practice, 30 minutes listening, 30 minutes reading, and 10 minutes writing. That's it. Every day. No excuses. Third, record yourself speaking every week. Listen to your own voice. Notice the mistakes. Smile at your progress. This will build your confidence. Fourth, speak with people. Start with a friend. Then try a language partner online. Don't wait for perfect English. Speak with your heart. Let me give you a real example. I met a man named David from Texas. He was learning Spanish and I was learning English. We made a deal we would talk for 15 minutes in English and 15 minutes in Spanish every Sunday. At first, it was awkward. I made mistakes. I forgot words. But David was kind. He laughed with me, not at me. After a few weeks, I noticed I was not afraid to speak anymore. And guess what? One day, David said to me, "Sarah, your English is beautiful." That one sentence lit up my heart like fireworks. So I ask you now, what decision will you make today? Will you choose to stay the same? Or will you choose to grow? Will you let fear control your dreams? Or will you speak with courage even with broken grammar? Your fluency is not a gift. It's a reward. It is the result of effort, time, and belief. And belief is something you control, not the world, not your past, only you. Let me tell you something else I learned. Progress feels slow when you only look at today. But when you look back at your journey after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you will see the mountain you climbed. You will be amazed. The key is to keep going even when you feel stuck. Even when no one supports you. Even when no one claps for you. You must clap for yourself. You must be your own biggest cheerleader. I remember after 6 months of daily practice, I joined a local English-speaking club in Portland. I walked into that room, my heart beating fast. I looked at strangers and said, "Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm here to grow." And for the first time in my life, I felt proud. Not because I was perfect, but because I showed up. I was no longer hiding. I was speaking. I was shining. That is the power of one decision.